I literally had to deprogram myself in my 40s and 50s. Selfish is not a bad word. Self-care is important.
Bringing people together is just so special and so needed right now.
It was almost like the Wizard of Oz movie where like all of a sudden life was in color. And I really felt community for the first time. Hi, I'm Jim Fielding. Welcome to Ask for an Answer. Hello, kind and beautiful human beings. We are so excited to be doing another episode here live. It won't be live for you, but in Los Angeles. I love recording in studio. I'm thrilled that Adam Powell is here today. I'm going to let Adam introduce himself, but I'm going to tell the story first of how we met because I love how we met because Adam and his partner, Eric, formed a company called Shop Queer, and I found them when the book was coming out, and Shop Queer was one of the best supporters of the book. I thank you so much for that. And we did an incredible event here at Soho House during the book tour in fall of 23, which is crazy. So I got to know Eric and Adam through that and have fallen in love with what they're doing and what they're building. And Shop Queer has since morphed into Allstora, which we'll get into. But welcome, Adam. I'm thrilled you could be here today.
Thank you. This is so fun.
So tell them more of your story, and then we'll get into Allstora and all that.
Yeah. Okay. Where do I begin? 2022, it all started in our apartment.
Yes.
We launched an online bookshop. We started with 10 books. So I guess this all started, my partner Eric had an online book club during the pandemic.
Right.
And from that, his agent was saying, every time you announce a book, we see the numbers go up.
Right.
So why don't you start selling books that are as part of your book club? So we started with 10 books, grew to around 3,000 books, all LGBTQ plus books. We were fulfilling from our apartment at first, and then we took over the little garage under our apartment, and then we had this teeny little office with no windows. It was literally a cave. And then in 2024, we got introduced to someone named RuPaul Charles, who's also an author of, he had 2 books at the time, and he had his memoir coming out. So we got connected to him, and he's like, I love books. I believe in the power of stories. Why don't we support all authors? And so we rebranded as Allstora as a way to support all authors, all stories. And we thought, how do we bring authors and creators together in their communities? And that's through book clubs. You know, everyone loves a good story. Everyone loves a good book.
Yes.
And so we started with RuPaul's book club, and now we have around 30 book clubs, including your
Leading with Pride. Yay. I love doing it.
Yeah. And so we've grown to around 30 book clubs where, people are able to come on and join a book club. Each month they receive that book, and they're able to interact with other people in the club as well as our book club hosts.
Yes. No, and I've loved it.
Yay.
I loved being on the journey. Like I was honored when you guys asked me to do a book club. And so the Leading with Pride book club that I do with you guys for our listeners and viewers it's LGBTQ authors, but particularly in the space of leadership and kind of life lessons. So I love working with the hosts, and I love reading and trying to figure out which ones, which books do I want to put into the book club and distribute. So, because I think it makes it super authentic, and it's thrilling that there's so many options actually, because I was a little worried at first. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to come up with a book a month. But I think I have my selections done. I was just thinking today, I think I have my selections done through April next year already. I'm like, I'm on it. On it. And I've been doing podcasts with a lot of the authors, and I really love that community. I love reading too. I love books and storytelling.
And I think it's really important, especially right now, to support authors and queer authors. It's really hard to make money as an author, to get a book out into the world. And so our goal has always been from the start to support our community, amplify those voices. And also, I don't know, we know what's going on in the world. We need to bring people together. And interact with one each other. And, I think the best way to do that is through stories. So it's been really fun being able to build this little community of readers and authors and hosts.
But talk about the entrepreneurial journey, because it's a lot. You guys work a lot.
We really do. And I think that's a great way to describe it. It is a journey. I mean, it started just me and Eric in our apartment, and then it's grown to other people that help us with marketing, building out the tech side of it, because it's, I didn't know how to do supply chain or financial forecasting. Prior to this, I came from talent management and more like the creative agency side.
Yeah.
So I knew how to work with talent and that side of things. But all of a sudden it's, working with publishers and ordering books and supply chain. Distributors. Like fun fact, but around the holidays, like if something's not shipped by, I think, December 15th, they don't guarantee that it'll be there by the 25th because everything slows down. And you don't know that until you're going through your first holiday season. So it's been a lot of learning on the go and leaning on people that are smarter than us, like yourself, to help support us and navigate us through this learning experience. But it's been really, really fun. I mean, all the authors that we've gotten to meet, that we're such huge fans of, and getting to work with them and amplify their books and their stories has been really great. But being an entrepreneur is really, really hard. You don't clock out. It's 24 hours a day, and it's really hard to support yourself and take care of yourself because it is, like we say that Allstora is our baby, and we're always going to take care of our baby. And then sometimes you're like, I haven't gone to the gym in a few months, or I haven't been eating the healthiest, or I haven't been taking care of my mental health because I'm supporting that. So, finding a balance is tricky, but we're working to find that balance.
Well, I was going to ask, because not only are you business partners, you're life partners. And how do you guys manage that? I mean, do you consciously say, okay, I'm talking to you as your life partner now or business partner? Like, how do you do that? Because it is 24/7. I know from being part of this and watching this journey, it's 24/7.
That has also been a learning, and we've had to change things along the way. I think especially when it was just the two of us, it was just the two of us doing everything.
Right.
Now that there are more people involved, there's a bit of separation, or, we say, okay, at 6 p.m., we can talk about work during the day, but at 6 p.m., no more talk about work. Or like setting up boundaries, which of course is tricky because, a normal couple, you'd come home and you'd talk about your employees or the things that happen at work. So it's a little bit different, but trying to find that separation of, just being normal and like going on walks with our dogs or going out to dinner.
And not talking about the work.
Not talking about the work has been very important. But I think we're both so passionate about this and like the mission, we get so excited about it. But it has been a learning experience, and, it is different than other people who are business partners, but we're figuring it out as we go. And I think we're both so proud of Allstora. We're proud of the bus. We're proud of building these communities. That we've always just really, really focused on that and bringing people together.
No, but I love that. I think that's so important for our listeners and viewers, because I've watched you guys do this. Like, you are learning on the job, which is fine, but you guys have excellent communication. You're honest and you're direct. And I think your boundaries word is so important, because honestly, for couples that don't work together, I think that boundary of how much, I go through it with Joe, like how much work stuff do we share? Like when he does come home, he works in a hospital. Sometimes I want to hear, I always ask how his day was, but because he works in a hospital and emergency room, sometimes there's not some good stories. And I also realize that my role is, okay, I need to be a supportive spouse and I need to be interested and engaged, and I am. But I also know that he has other doctor friends that he needs to talk through some stuff with. Because some of the stuff he wants to talk about, I'm like, I don't know what you're even talking about. And my world, he's super supportive of my world, but he doesn't totally understand what I'm doing. I mean, it's funny, like even this week, he's like, oh, I really liked your newsletter this week. And I said, oh, you read it? Like I knew he subscribed to the newsletter. I knew he was and he's like, no, I actually read it. And I could tell that he had read it. And so I think all couples, dual working couples, boundaries is such a huge discussion. And like, let's just be a couple. Let's not talk about work at all. Let's just be a couple.
Totally. And like the boundaries change and they ebb and flow. And, maybe what worked for us when we were first starting and it was just the two of us is different now that there's more of like a team and other people involved.
Other players, yeah.
So they change, but having that time where you're like, okay, we're going to close up the computer. No more talking about like Slack or work and let's just like connect on, life and friends and our dog and TV shows and our passions has been really, really important. But it's difficult,
Yeah, and it's still, I mean, you guys are still babies. I mean, I know you feel like you've been doing this a long time, but it's, like you said, 2022 is when this all started, and we're recording this in 2025. So it's still, you're in your baby phase still. But you've grown a lot and changed a lot in a really rapid amount of time.
Yeah. It's been a learning experience. I have like no sense of time. Like I'll look at photos from like 2022 and I'm like, oh, that was last week, or that feels like it was like 10 years ago. Like things have moved very fast.
I have said this. I feel like COVID messed with my sense of time. Like totally. I'm like that too. I'm like, people will say to me, remember when we went? And I'm like, no. Like I remember we went, like I'm worried, because I have a mother with dementia and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember that. And then the other thing I will blame, and this is going to be like, I'm sure this is going to blow up, but the way that Apple Photos are organized now, whoever is in charge of Apple Photos, I'm just going to make a little PSA here. It is very hard to find photos now. Like it used to be, I don't remember which update we got, but it used to be easier to navigate my Apple Photos. I love Apple, but now I'm like, it's weird. They're all over the place. I can't find them. Like I want to go back and look at something and I'm like, I don't remember what year that happened. And anyway, that's my little plug for it. We need a better user experience on Apple Photos. But.
Yeah. Or they give you like the memories and I'll look at it and be like, oh, that was last week. And it was like so long ago.
So long ago. So, I know. I know like the random stuff that comes up and I'm like, I don't know if I even want to remember that, but thank you, phone, for bringing that up. But it was in there. Anyway, that was a little side. Talk to me about, that was my little on my platform. PSA, Apple Photos. Talk to me about Rainbow Book Bus, because I know what that means to you. And you're wearing the shirt, which I love, Read Banned Books.
Yeah, so this shirt's actually from Little Gay Shop in Austin, which is like a fabulous queer-owned company. If anyone's looking for it, they sell books and shirts and merch and stickers and pencils. They're absolutely fabulous. I got the shirt from there, but I love it, and I wore it on tour. So the Rainbow Book Bus, it is a physical 22-foot bus that Eric and I converted into like a fabulous, loud and proud.
It's an old school bus, right?
It is an old retired, so it's interesting. More fun facts. I didn't know that I'd be like a mechanic and bus driver, but that is just what I've become. School buses, once they hit around like, I think 100,000 miles, they have to be retired for safety and legal issues because they're carrying children. So they move them out into these like graveyard abandoned school bus sites, and you can buy them on auction. But you like go and there's hundreds of buses and you point at the one that you want and you kind of buy it sight unseen. You then have to take it to like a mechanic and X, Y, and Z. But we bought the school. We started a fundraiser online. We were like, we were seeing what was going on in the news, and we live in these big cities and we have access to these books. But so many people don't have access to these books. And both Eric and myself loved back in the day Scholastic book fairs.
Yes.
And so we were like, how do we bring or combine like Scholastic book fair meets very queer book fair, but we work with these LGBT centers across the country and give the books away for free. So invite students and parents and teachers and librarians to these centers, and hold big queer book fairs where they're able to, get these books, because so many of these books are being taken off the shelves. So we said, okay, if they're going to take the books off the shelves, we're going to pack up our bus and bring them to you and give them away for free.
Yes.
So we started kind of like a Kickstarter grassroots campaign online, and it blew up. We had no idea what was going to happen, but I think it really resonated with a lot of people, and they felt like this is like a tangible thing to support and actually help out and get these books in the hands of these kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, we bought this bus. We found an amazing like trans architect and designer to come and do the inside of the bus so we ripped out all the seats and carved like little bookshelves, and it looks like a magical little rainbow. And then we worked with an amazing non-binary graphic designer in Florida to do the outside. So it's like a sticker. It's like a wrap that they put on the bus.
Is?
Yeah, it's a wrap.
That's so funny because I've seen it. I didn't know it was a wrap. I thought somebody physically painted it.
Yeah, well, originally we were going to do that, but they said for just like longevity, the wrap's better because you can like take it on or off or change it if you want. So it's a giant sticker. So we built it, and then in March of 2024, we went on a cross-country tour. So we left Los Angeles. We were in, Arizona and Texas and Florida. The bus broke down in rural Alabama.
Remember that? You were on your way to Atlanta.
Yeah. On our way to Atlanta. It broke down outside of Birmingham. We had to like tow it to Birmingham. They didn't have the part, so then we had to tow it to Atlanta. It showed up to the Atlanta event that you were at on a stretcher, like literally on a tow truck, because we wanted people to be able to experience it. And then we took the bus directly back to like a mechanic in Atlanta. But yeah, it was quite a journey. It was around 2 weeks. I mean, we were pretty much waking up, going to an event, doing the event, and then driving to a different state. And then on tour, we gave away around 8,000 books, which was amazing.
You know how much I love this story. And I loved the Atlanta event. And by the way, none of us knew it showed up on a flatbed, right?
Yeah.
Like only those of us that were on the inside knew.
The inside
and
scoop.
You were not stressed, which I was amazed when I saw you guys that you were, because we were like the end of the tour, basically. Like you had made it across country. And I loved that you went, like the stops you made, you were going right into the heart of it, where book bannings were happening and where school boards and city councils were making horrible decisions. And in a weird way, you were also doing it after like COVID vaccines and stuff. And I feel like we needed community. And a lot of people showed up in Atlanta. I was shocked. And my little book was in there. I was so proud. And they were like taking it and I was signing it. And like, I'm such a tangibility person. Like I love digital, you know that. And I love .com and the book clubs and everything, which are really primarily virtual. But I love that the Rainbow Book Bus is like an in real life experience. And I remember even when it was just parked in that parking lot by the church here in LA for a long time. And it's, something you should be really proud of, because when you see it and feel it and watch the people, especially the kids, and the families, like that's the thing I loved in Atlanta is how many families were there.
Totally. It is kids. It is grandparents. It is
multi-generational.
Librarians. Or I think of when we were from Atlanta, we went down to Tallahassee, Florida, and we partnered with this amazing organization called Capital T. That's a trans safe house and nonprofit. And we held an event in like a bar parking lot, and we had drag queens and, it's kids, it's parents, it's grandparents, all people coming together. But also we brought together different parts of the community that maybe didn't know each other. So it was, this bar where the owner was queer, and then we introduced them to some of these drag queens. And there was also like a queer owned bookshop that came on site. And even after the bus left, the bar and queer bookshop started to do events together. So it's like just bringing people together is just so special and like so needed right now. Really,
and
so
I remember
needed.
Nicole Page Brooks was at Atlanta and did Drag Queen Story Time. That ends up on TV. We all knew her. I mean, we're so proud of her in Atlanta. And I mean, it was a moment, and it was so needed and so necessary. And I love also that, to your point, the Kickstarter type approach you did, the community knew it was needed. I mean, people knew we needed that.
And we had no idea. Like, when we first started, we're like, okay, great. We're going to get like $500. And then it turned into this thing, and it's like, wow, like not only do people support us and believe in us, but like it's needed. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just from people in the US, like it was a global Kickstarter. And I think also seeing that the people, you know, abroad who are like, do this, you know, it's not even coming to
Yes.
my state or my country, but like this is important.
Yes.
Has been so special,
Yes.
and being able to build these relationships with these people who are running these LGBT centers in Texas, in Florida, and being able to continue to support
Yeah.
them, continue to send them books, even though maybe the bus can't be there physically right now. You know, this holiday, we're packing up boxes and we're shipping them out to different centers across the country. We can't always bring the bus there, but we can bring the mission, we can bring those
energy.
books.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can have their own little queer book fair.
I love that. Where did you grow up?
Northern California. So like East Bay area outside of San Francisco.
Okay. So that was a good place to grow up then, right?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it was very conservative, but like I grew up doing like dance and theater and performing arts. And so I was very like that very loud kid running around wanting to like perform for everyone. And so I think, you know, that's always been in me. And that's why going on tour, doing these in-person
Yeah, you're very good at it.
community building things feels so fun. Getting
Yeah.
to like just interact with people feels really special.
No, I can see that. That makes sense that you were doing that as a kid. Because you're so that now.
Yeah. And even occasionally, sometimes my like drag alter ego Aubergine will appear at events. You know, she pops in and out when
I
possible.
love that we brought up Aubergine. I love her.
Yeah. She takes a while to get ready, you know. So like sometimes the early morning events are a bit rough.
Yes.
But
and he shaves, by the way, audience, the viewing audience. He does it real, professional.
we go full out. And I feel like I have to
How
have
long
like
has Aubergine been around?
it was my like pandemic hobby. You know, we all had all of a sudden we had all this free time. And so like my favorite thing to do during the pandemic is I would, you know, go to like a drugstore and buy, you know, some makeup. I didn't know what I was doing. And I would watch YouTube tutorials and like
my God.
sit on
You're
my
a teenage girl, basically.
literally teaching myself. Except now like teenage girls don't go through the awkward stage. They just go from like teenage girl to being like
To contour.
very that. But I was like, it was trial and error. Like learning how to glue down your eyebrows is very, very tricky. But it was like a passion, and I like looked forward to it every day, like coming home and painting my face. And I find it very relaxing and like such a fun, creative outlet.
How often do you want her to come out? Like, do you have a plan or is she spontaneous? Like, that's what I'm curious about now. Like, does she just, you're like, wake up and you're like, I think Aubergine needs to play today? Or like, I'm just curious.
There are definitely times where I'm like craving it. I'm like, oh, like Aubergine needs to come out.
Yeah.
I think I would like her to come out more. So maybe like, you know, I think right now she comes out usually for Pride and maybe for like my birthday or the holidays. So maybe, you know, a few more times you can sprinkle in here or there. I mean, I give such kudos to the girls who are in drag every single day. Like it is a
Professionals.
soul. Yeah, it's hours and hours, and it's you can't serve a look like it's the look like twice. It's like it's the looks, it's the hair, it's everything. So those girls, give them their coins. But you know, maybe in a dream world, like monthly, she would come out and maybe doing more events.
Well, okay, I'm going to plant this for you, which you don't even know, because I've done bad drag, to be honest, right? Like, but I feel like I have this drag persona. I have a name. I'm not going to share it because I don't want anybody to steal it. But I know that this is really old, but you know who Dame Edna was, right?
Yeah.
And when Dame Edna passed, may she rest in peace, I was like, there's a void. There's a void, right?
Yeah.
There's like Dame Edna and like Lady Bunny, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a void and I'm like, I can see mine coming out at some point, but I would want to do it right. I would want to do it professional, but hosting a review, right? So Aubergine could be in the review. Like I feel a variety show.
I love
almost
that. A cabaret.
like a cabaret, like an old. I'm much older than you are, but like an old Sonny and Cher, Carol Burnett-esque kind of 70s show. I just want to plant that for you.
I say yes.
Yeah, and I feel like it most likely would be in Palm Springs. Like I could picture where it would be.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would be like a regular gig, but I think it could be a fun review because I love the art of drag and I love the art of performance and live performance and all that kind of stuff. And I I have no aspirations to, no, it's not my new career. But I think, because I would want to do old person drag where like I could wear turbans and
Yes.
and have like muumuus.
A gorgeous
Yeah,
caftan.
because I'm not tucking.
Yeah.
I'm not doing all that. But yeah, just to let you know, it's there.
I see it. We're planting the seed. Maybe the June episode for Pride.
Yeah, like I do. I feel, and I know there's a lot of those Palm Springs based drag queens like Bianca and stuff. I'm like, they could do it much better than I could. But I just feel like maybe I want to enable that. And I think it would be for charity.
Yeah.
But it'd be like a review. I feel like it would be a review.
I feel like I have a super like hero cape on when I'm in drag.
Yeah.
Like I feel super empowered. And I also think it, I think sometimes in like the gay community, there's like a lot of toxic masculinity. And I think doing drag helped me connect with like my more like feminine, creative, nurturing side. And so I love it. Like I feel like I'm like a superstar when I'm out.
Your transformation is scary, actually. Those of us that know you, like when I first saw you as aubergine, like I was like, and I think it's because you have your beard when you're in your boy drag, basically. And I was like, oh my God. Like
we go for it. We go full snatch.
She pretty.
Yeah.
She pretty.
It's been very fun. Yeah. She's gonna come out more. You're gonna have your review. It's all happening.
It's all meant to be. We're putting it on our Oprah vision board. It's like it's all manifesting. So tell me about you and I were talking before we started, and I think it's so important because you touched on it briefly, but like your focus right now on self-care, mental health, I think that's a really important discussion, especially in our community right now, because we're under so much stress, so much anger, especially in the like LA, San Francisco, but there's a lot of spaces that are not safe right now for our community. So I'm curious about this focus on self-care and mental health.
Yeah. I think when you're starting something, if you're an entrepreneur, even if you're just working any type of job, a lot of times you get so tied to it. And all of a sudden, like your job is your personality. And, then you're never turning off. And you're always checking your emails or checking Slack messages at midnight on a Saturday or doing X, Y, and Z. Just go, 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 go. And then, all of a sudden you realize like, oh, wow, I haven't, gone to therapy recently, or I haven't been eating healthier. I haven't been going to the gym, or I haven't been taking care of me. I think it's so easy to put self-care like, oh, I'll get to that, next year or next month. And I think I very much forgot about it. I was so focused on work and career and, because I was so passionate about it. I was so passionate about Allstora and the book bus and the communities we're building. I wasn't really taking care of me. And so even just, I call them my little like daily delights, whether it's like a dance party with your dog or finding a new recipe and cooking it or going on a walk or going outside for sunset and maybe having a glass of wine. Those little moments that feel indulgent and that are just for you, I think are so special. And I think, sometimes we're like, oh, I can't take a day off or go on a vacation or go to that class, but you can take 5 minutes to just like move your body, be silly, play a song you love. And I think finding that throughout the day.
I love that daily delights. I think that's so cute.
Daily delights. Because I was sitting in front of my computer for like 10 hours and I would get to the end of the day and I'm like, oh, all I've had today is like coffee. My back really hurts. My eyes are singing.
Your neck gets the bulge. Yeah,
totally.
I mean, it's so true.
But now it's like, okay, I'll have a few meetings and I'll get up and like put on a song I love and like dance with my dog or go on that 10-minute walk and just those little breaks that, get you outside, touching grass.
It's funny because like the lessons in the book, like lesson number 9 is selfish is not a bad word. And when I'm on tour with the book or doing speaking, I get a lot of questions about that chapter because I had to turn selfish, the word, into self-care because I was definitely raised that selfish was a bad word. Like
totally.
I got timeouts. Little Jimmy got put in the corner for being selfish. And selfish in my family was basically, I wasn't sharing my toys or I was being mean to my sister. I was probably taking care of myself, but that was not a good word in my family. So I literally had to deprogram myself in my 40s and 50s to say selfish is not a bad word. Self-care is important. And I tell people, from the book, I tell people all the time, it really hit me flying on an airplane when they talk about when the oxygen mask drops from the ceiling and before you help others put yours on. I hadn't even written the book yet, but I was journaling all the time. And I remember one time, like I always pay attention in the safety video. Like I pay attention to the flight attendants because I'm kind of a nervous flyer. So I'm very aware when they're doing that thing. And I thought for whatever that time, I was like, wait a minute, that's being selfish. Like putting the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help others. But it made sense to me. And that really was what became the chapter in the book because I had to learn it. So I encourage people like your age and younger, like learn it at a young age because many of us were raised that selfish was bad. Like, put others' needs in front of your own, like always, sacrifice your workout time or your personal time for the greater good or for work. And to me, it's absolutely, we were raised the wrong way. Like it's absolutely just bad advice. Like it really, it's such a huge learning that you guys, that you're recognizing that you guys are both recognizing that. Because by the way, the work's going to be there tomorrow. The work, I mean, it doesn't go away.
Totally. And I think, I don't know, now more than ever, I mean, I think of when we're on like tour and there's a lot of places across the country that maybe you don't feel, seen or accepted. Like you need to take care of yourself. The world is kind of a scary place right now. So, finding those daily delights or finding your community, I think now is so important. So whether it's through, a hobby or a passion or an LGBT center or just looking out for your community and coming together, I think is like really, really important right now. And we have to lean on each other and support each other. And I think that's what's gonna, get us through this world.
And I'm sure you're hearing that from your book club subscribers and your customers because you guys are so close to them. Like I'm sure you're hearing this.
Yeah. And I think at first we thought people would come just because they wanted to interact with like the book club leader, the book club host, but it's people wanting to come together because over a common shared love, or they want to see the world through the eyes of the host because they appreciate that, they respect that, but they want to also connect with each other. They want to share cat photos and they want to share recipes and holiday plans. We're all looking for our tribe. We're all looking for our community. And that's what we're trying to do with Allstora is bring people together. But, you can find your community anywhere. And I think it's really, really important and something that we all instinctually long for.
Yeah. How long have you been in LA now?
Oh gosh, like 12 years, like a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if I thought I'd stay here for forever. Like I think I always thought maybe, I don't know, like New York or like a big city or something like that. But I love it here. I love the one season. Love being able to like go to the beach, really.
The beach, the mountains, the desert. I say that all the time.
We got it all.
2 hours, one direction. Your beach, mountains, desert somehow. But it's funny because I lived in San Francisco. Did you have a Northern California bias though? Did you think, I always feel like there's a Northern California, Southern California cliques.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny because I think a lot of my friends and network that were in Northern California or in San Francisco during the pandemic all moved to LA. So I feel like they're all down here. I still have a few friends there, but so many people moved here because they wanted, the weather or the beach or just like the lifestyle. So I don't know if there was
outdoors.
I don't know if there was a bias. I still love going up and visiting. And I think San Francisco is so magical and has such great queer history. You can't help but walk through the Castro and feel like invigorated. But I enjoy living here.
Yeah, that's funny. Your family's still up there though, right?
Yeah, so my sister's in San Jose and she's a principal, and then both of my parents now live out in like Sacramento area. They live in, it's called Sun City, so it's like a 55 and up community, and they call it their adult cruise ship.
I love
So they're
that.
there. My mom works at like a thrift store. My dad volunteers at like a food bank.
I love that.
Yeah.
See that volunteering's in your family.
Totally. And also like my mom used to be a preschool teacher. My dad used to work for like the UC system. So like education and like
Yeah, and you have
teaching,
a principal sister.
it's like in my blood. So like it makes sense.
It does.
Very
that makes sense.
Like everything I'm doing, like it makes sense. I don't think I fully understood it until I was in my like late 20s, 30s. But I was like, oh, like this, giving and caretaking and support is in my blood.
Well, I think it's fascinating because you mentioned that you and Eric love Scholastic Book Fair. And I have talked about Scholastic Book Fair on other podcast episodes with guests because to me, as a little gay kid in Toledo, Ohio, even though there wasn't gay books, like that's where I found the Hardy Boys. That's where I found Nancy
Yes.
Drew. And I saved my money for those book fairs. And I mean, I am like old school compared to you, where we filled out little pieces of paper and cut it and like turned it into our teacher and everything. And reading for me and books was my escape. Like that, because like I was little kid struggling with his story and struggling with his sexuality in Toledo, Ohio. I was convinced, and Toledo, Ohio is not small, but I was convinced I was the only one that felt like I felt.
Yeah.
And this is way before internet and way before social media and way before, there was really no way to connect, right? And so I lived a fantasy life through reading, right? And then when I got older, and I could go to the library or I could go to certain types of bookstores and find queer history and find stories from and by our community. I mean, again, that was kind of how I learned, right? And I moved to San Francisco when I was 28 years old. So I've been in the Midwest, 28 years. And it's so funny you talk about the Castro because I lived right outside the Castro, but I tell people that like moving to San Francisco as at that point an out gay man, even though I moved in the 90s and it was like the height of the AIDS crisis and there was a lot of strain and stress, it was almost like the Wizard of Oz movie where like all of a sudden life was in color. And
I love that.
So all the things I'd read about and all of the things I quote had researched, now I was living, right? And I really felt community for the first time. And I loved living there. But then I found it, when I moved down here too. And LA for me, I was 20 years in LA. So for my adult story, LA is a huge part of that story. And I lived all over LA because that's the other thing about LA, living here.
It's big.
It's big. And whenever anybody tells me they're from LA or they live in LA, I'm like, where? Right? Because by the way, I did Pasadena all the way to Brentwood. Like I did it all. I did West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and each little neighborhood, each little pocket was so different and all part of the LA fabric. Always flying out of LAX, they say. But then you also learn about Burbank Airport and Long Beach Airport. All this, I'm like, wait a minute, there's more than one airport in Los Angeles? Like you learn all those things. And I think it's great that you guys are making such you're not only making a contribution to LA community, I mean, many communities, but I didn't realize it was 12 years. It's
been here for a long time.
Crazy.
I really like it.
Okay, so I want to go back to entrepreneurial journey for a little bit here. You've been great talking about so many of the parts of it, but like what has surprised you the most about this journey? Like, I mean, or there might be more than one thing that surprised you, but I was just curious when you were talking, I'm thinking, what surprised him?
Oh, that's such a good question. I mean, it moves really, really fast. And I also think everyone who's an entrepreneur, okay, here's a good answer.
Yeah.
Everyone's just figuring it out. Like when you're just starting, you're just figuring it out. And it really is trial by error. And everyone is just doing the best they can. I think often we're like, oh, they've got it figured out. They know what they're doing. They've, raised all this money or X, Y, and Z. It's perfect over there. We are all running around. We are all wearing a million hats. I'm checking emails. I'm going and getting a catalytic converter for my bus. I'm coming and doing a podcast. Like we are all running around and wearing those hats to make it survive. And that's kind of the fun part about it. But it's also, you learn how to do so many different things. I think of, before starting this, I very much just did like marketing or like influencer marketing.
Yes.
And now I've kind of learned how to fundraise or do financial forecasting or build decks or, a little bit of coding. Like you learn so much because you have to. It's trial by error, but it's also sink or swim. If your website is down and you launch a sale, like you have to figure out how to get your website back up and running so you can continue keeping the lights on. You have to figure it out.
Yes.
And so I think that doer mentality, anyone who's an entrepreneur learns that, and you have to figure it out. And it's like a roller coaster, highs and lows, but so fun along the way. And I think just so grateful that I'm able to work and meet so many amazing people and get to support
and combine your passion. I think too. I think
totally
that has been a huge secret to your guys' success. Like your passion for storytelling, your passion for reading, your passion for the community, for giving back, all that. I mean, the fact that you kind of built, I think that's what I loved even all the way back to Shop Queer is from the beginning, you guys were very mission and vision based. It wasn't like we just want to be a place to sell books. Like it wasn't, it was always bigger than that. And as an author, a first-time author, we talked about this, like, the industry is hard. I mean, first off, like anybody who's listening or out there who's written a book, first off, it's hard to write a book. Second, it's hard to get a book published. And then third, to sell the dang book, right? And they kind of don't tell you, right? Like you think, oh, I wrote a book and I got the book published, I'm done. And I'm like, oh my God, no, the hard work just started. Like you design the cover, you approve, you do all the edits and all that kind of stuff. The thing's printed, then you're like, oh my gosh, I have to sell it, right? And you guys, first off, take care of the authors financially better than a lot of other places do. And you were supportive of let's do an event. And the thing is I was with you when you guys were the ones selling at the event because you didn't have anybody else. Like you carried the books in and you had your little square machine and but I loved that. And I mean and events are hard. I mean, events, the Rainbow Book Fest event is a little bit different, but just a book, to get people to come and listen to you talk about your book or buy your book is really, really hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, and no one, like exactly what you said, no one teaches you how to do that. You have the book, okay, it's printed, it's out there, and it's like, okay, now sell it. No one's saying, okay, let's do a pre-order campaign or let's offer signed book plates. Or do you want to do like
limited editions, all that. I mean, it's
a
like,
virtual tour. Like no one's telling you to do that. And so I think, our experience plus Eric,
having written a book, right?
Having written a book and his book came out in the middle of a pandemic during all those things. He had to do virtual, book events. He was doing like 4 of them a day the week the book came out. No one teaches you that. So being able to share, we don't know everything, but like share our learnings with other authors and helping them grow and monetize and sell books has also been like really fun because it feels like we're along for the ride and part of the story.
And as an author in that ecosystem, you do feel that support, right? And you feel you guys share best practices, you share key learnings from other people. You're like, oh, you should try this. Oh, you should try that. Like, which is because literally, I mean, to me, like writing a book, you become an entrepreneur, right? Like I was definitely naive. Like I was naive to write the book and then to actually get it published. And then I kind of thought, oh, the publisher does all this. No, and I love my publisher. Please, if you're listening, publisher, I love you. But John Wiley & Sons. But I didn't know like how much work it was to like get it in people's hands, right? I mean, and to and like you, when I know people have paid for the book, whether they pay for the physical book or they, download the audiobook, like it's such a moment. Like I'm so grateful for those moments because that I know that the economy is tough and I know that they have many places they could spend their money and spend their time. And I mean, just to be in, like I say to people all the time, because you've said it too, it's like, I feel like the people who read the book or listen to the book and then write a review, as you know, it's a big deal. We love reviews. But you're in community with them, right? And so I tell people all the time, yeah, if you DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn, it's me. Like, it's not some random bot that's answering you. Like, when people tell me stories about the parts of the book they liked or something they learned or anything, I mean, it's huge. It's huge.
Oh my gosh. I think sometimes people forget that it's us on the other side.
I know, it's real people. It's real people.
Like when we're going through our customer service or DMs or anything, like it is us on the end. We are responding from bed late at night, making sure you get your books and X, Y, and Z. But it's also you're sharing your story. So it is very personal. And, it opens that, when someone reaches out, it opens that dialogue, which I think is so special.
Well, I think we're coming towards the end, but I want to wrap up because I think the other thing that you do as Adam, as Aubergine, as entrepreneur, as founder of Allstora is it's representation, right? And you and I and Eric have talked a lot about representation matters, right? And so I hope you know the positive impact you're making and the way you're influencing so many queer people's lives, particularly young people, right? And I know you're still young, but you're not young. You're in the middle now, right? Aubergine is younger than Adam, I think.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I think Aubergine's maybe 5 years younger than Adam.
I wear these like tapes when I do drag, and I'm going to start wearing them out all the time.
They're a little bit harder to hide in your boy hair.
I need to grow my hair
I know,
out.
you need,
or like
your
a
boy
hat.
hair. If I see you next time in a hat with pulled tight eyes, I'm going to know. I'll call you out.
Great.
You know me. I'll be like, are you taping?
It's my little secret.
Okay. So final words of wisdom, like for our listeners and viewers, or, video, audio, like, especially now you've talked about it's like a tough world and all that kind of stuff. Like, what's your big word of wisdom today?
I think you're never alone. I think what you were saying of growing up, you felt very alone. You were the only person. You are not. There is a big, bright world, a big, bright community waiting to welcome you with wide open arms. I think that's what we really learned from the tour is, sometimes people feel like, oh, I can't find them here, but your community is there. You can find your tribe. And if it's not there, know that we are here waiting to give you a big, big old hug. So just looking out for your community, finding your tribe. And I think so many pieces will fall in line once you find that. And exactly who you are is exactly who you should be.
I love that.
And read books. Books are so powerful, whether they provide that community or enlightenment or a connection to a new way of living or learning. Read more books. I think that is very, very important right now.
Oh my God. That's the mic drop right there. Mic drop.
And banned books. Support banned
read
books.
all books.
All
banned
books.
Read all books. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for doing what you do. You're making a difference every day. I'm a fan of Aubergine once a month. I'm just going to say.
Okay. Next time. Give me a few more hours.
No. She doesn't have to come on the podcast,
Yeah.
but I know how much she means to you. And she represents an important part of the community too. So thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Thanks for spending this time with us on Ask for an Answer. If this conversation sparks something for you, don't just nod and move on. Take one idea, one question, one uncomfortable and bring it into your next meeting, your next one-on-one, or your next big decision. That's how this becomes a practice, not just a podcast. If you're leading a team, a classroom, a company, or just your own next chapter, you don't have to have it all figured out. You do have to be willing to listen, to ask better questions, and to create the kind of safety where people will actually tell you what they see. If this episode was useful, share it with someone who's in the arena with you. And if you want more tools, stories, and real talk leadership moments, make sure you follow the show and leave a review so others can find us. I'm Jim Fielding. Thank you for being here, for leading with less armor and more intention. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep asking for an answer.